Welcome, guys, to the fourth episode of the podcast. My name is Elizabeth, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Desamo Design. Today, I have a guest with me, and it is Shobha from Serendipitous Wool Company. She is going to be talking a lot to us about yarn dyeing and all the amazing things we can do with it. And we're probably going to talk a little bit about being a BIPOC in this community. I really hope you guys enjoy the episode, and please watch it to the end. And don't forget to leave a comment down below if you have any questions, or if you love her yarn, or if you want to respond to anything that we're discussing in this episode. And give this episode a like and share with anybody in the fiber community that you would like to find this podcast. I would really love the support. So subscribe to this channel, like this video if you enjoyed, and leave a comment below. How are you?
I'm good. I've been up early, but I'm good. I guess nervous and all kinds of things put into it. But I'm good.
It's not you. I'm nervous too. Like, as you can see, I had my sister and my cousin here. Like, my sister wasn't really here, but like we were just sitting here chatting. I'm like, oh my God, let me sit up. And I've been sitting here the whole time waiting. So.
I should have just come in then. I should have come in earlier. Never mind. It's good. Won't interrupt your sister. How's your sister anyway? She's in France or?
She's in Belgium.
Belgium. That's right. Okay, Belgium.
She is doing great. Yesterday was her birthday. She did not do much, but she spent the day with her family at home just because of the pandemic and everything. People still can't. They can go. I think they're in phase 2 now.
Okay.
However, restaurants are still crowded.
Yes.
Crowded, and so it's kind of difficult, especially with 3 small kids.
Yes.
It's difficult. So let's go ahead and just start it. So how did you start? How did you get started with dyeing? Tell us the story of Serendipitous.
Serendipitous Wool?
Yeah. Serendipitous. Tell us the story of Serendipitous Wool Company.
Sure. So I actually came into this quite late in my life, I guess. So because my mom and a cousin of mine, they crocheted. Okay, so they did crocheting, and I was never interested. I was like, no, nothing. But I guess years went by, and then I decided when I was going to be 49, I was like, you know what? I want to honor my mom. I want to honor my cousin, because they both passed on, and I wanted to, my parents always instilled this learning thing into me, kind of thing, it's always good to learn. And so I picked up crochet first, and then I was like, no, I cannot knit. And then I said, no, you know what? I'm going to learn that too. So I learned knitting as well. And with all this, it was always, you pick colors, you pick, all kinds of colors, right? And I love colors. I love the colors that I see around me and everything. And I said to myself, you know what? I want to try dyeing. And I said, okay, let's jump into it. And, so I saved avocados, saved onion skins, and tried that first. And then I went on and bought acid dyes. And I said, I like this. I like what I'm doing. And, let's get into it. So let's start a company.
That's a way to dye. I have so many avocado skins in my freezer right now that I'm waiting. Yes. And I can tell my cousin, like, she lives in New Jersey, I tell her, save every avocado skin and pit that you guys have. And she actually shipped me a bag of it the other day.
Awesome. Keep it in the freezer. Yeah, and that's awesome. Yeah, and it's fun. It's so fun, and you can change the pH of the water, and you can see the color change, and onion skins as well. Yellow onion skins, red onion skins. Separate them and save them.
I did not know that.
Yep. Onion skins as well.
People dye with I've always seen the avocado dye, but I've never known about the onion skin.
Yes.
Saving my onion
skins. Save your onion skins. Try with any of your scrap vegetables, right? Because you just never know. You just never know what's going to come out of it.
I thought about trying because I was using the purple cabbage, and you know how when
Yes,
you rinse it
yes,
in water, it gives you
yes,
blue color.
yes. Try that. Try that. Try your beans, your dry red beans, black beans. Try all that.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, it's a whole world.
You are opening a whole world to me now.
Yes, yes,
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna definitely try the beans and everything. Definitely, because I'm gonna order some yarn pretty soon because I have way too much avocado skin. I'm gonna order some yarn pretty soon to start
yes,
fine dyeing. Like, can you change the colors? Like, I know most avocado gives you like this pinkish color. Is there a
yes.
way to
By
change?
altering the pH of the water. So
Mhm.
you use oh my gosh, not you can use citric acid for mordants, but the other thing with avocados is they do have mordant in them because they got a lot of tannin in the pits. So you can use that. You don't have to add avocado. Baking soda. Use baking soda to change the pH of the water.
Okay, I definitely have
Yep.
that in my
Yep.
picture.
Yep.
so,
And that will
depending,
help.
so depending on how much baking soda I have, it'll change the color into a darker color or lighter color.
Yes, yes. So you got to adjust, play with the pH of the water. Do you have like pH strips? Use those to test the pH of the water. That way you can keep track of what colors you are getting.
Okay.
With it's always important. Keep track of what you are getting because that's the way then you can repeat the colors.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Right. I'm definitely gonna do. I'm gonna order some pH strips of Amazon because I've been ordering everything on Amazon, and I'm gonna try it probably next weekend. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna share
Yeah.
it all in my
Yeah.
story. I'll tag you in it so you can see.
Yes, yes, that would be awesome. Yes.
So you say that you crochet and you knit.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you create any patterns with your own yarn?
I wish. It's something that I really would like to because I do have a lot of ideas when like certain colors they kind of like lead you to something else, I guess. So I would like to, but I'm not great at drawing or sketching and things like that. It's not my strong point. I'm more of add everything and mix everything up and see how it goes. But I would like to maybe one day put some ideas down and who knows, maybe ask you to help me with designing something in crochet, to nation crochet. I have a plan, I have an idea, and maybe you can bring it to life.
I have, yes. You ever thought of getting how you call they are simpler maker? So you give them the idea and then they make it.
Oh,
So
okay,
I think there's people out there who do that. Like
okay,
give them
okay.
the idea, you if you write the pattern and you tell them, hey, can you try making that, and then make the sample for you based on your idea. So it's still your pattern.
I see, I see. Okay,
So
okay, maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah. We'll see. It's a journey. I think the fun thing about fiber is there's so many avenues, so many lanes, so many roads that you can go into and learn from and things like that. So I think that's what is exciting, and I love learning. I love adding new things to my repertoire. Learning different things and all that. So let's see.
so let's just like talk about a little bit about your collabs because I know you do a lot of collabs. You and I we did one. That's how I got
Yes,
my Gemini Triangle shawl, which is
yes.
still one of my favorite. It's actually hanging up right here.
Oh, you
Um,
should put it on. I would love to see it.
there it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that.
I love it. So it's like ooh, it's actually pretty nice.
Yes. Oh, it's lovely.
Thank you. That yarn, I just keep loving that color that you
Yes, yes,
dyed up for it. It's so pretty. So this part is the Tunisian simple stitch.
yes,
And
yes.
if you look on the other side, this is my favorite Tunisian stitch ever. And I love it with this yarn because you can
Oh, yes.
so this
Oh,
one
that's so
is
pretty.
honeycomb. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
No, your yarn actually made this super pretty. It's not like Like, it's the combination.
It's both. It's both. It's a combination. Yes, it's a combination of our creativity. Yes.
I honestly, this is one. This is no. This is my second shawl I made, and this is my favorite. Honestly,
Okay.
and
It's lovely.
it is. The yarn. It's just. I think the stitch I chose. I chose this stitch just so that it can show the colors,
Yes.
nuances
Yes.
in
Yes.
one yarn. It's like it's one color, but there's so many nuances under.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I'm
So
gonna.
do I. Yes, you should.
So, like other collabs that you have done, I know right now you're doing the book journey.
Yarn Journeys Book Club.
Yeah, on
Yes.
Journey's book club. Can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Sure. I'm doing that with Robin of Birch Hollow Fibers, and so Robin and I connected on Instagram. We haven't met each other, but we do communicate over Instagram, or Zoom and things like that. And we both love books, and we wanted to share all the amazing Black, Indigenous people of color who are authors, who are illustrators, and they look like us, right? And they tell our stories.
Mhm.
And um, we dye the yarns based on these books. Okay, we are inspired by these books, and we dye the yarns on that. What we want, we are hoping that people will start buying these books, reading them, sharing them with their families, sharing them with their friends, for themselves as well, and make them part of their collections. And that way, then these books become more, they become like the norm, then, you know what I'm saying. And these authors and illustrators are more well known, and they become classics, right? Because our norm of classics now is like you're looking at books that are really should not be the norm,
Mhm. Yeah.
so yeah, so and we know this. I mean, Robin and I always, like even me growing up, okay, always looking for books that showed people like me or told my story, something, and things like that. So same with Robin. And yep, Robin is awesome. So
Yes.
yeah, yes, and we're really, I'm really enjoying doing this club with her. So so we're hoping that more people will get to know these authors and illustrators, so, and not just make it a trend, like, oh, just for now kind of thing. No, be part of your life, and introduce them and pass them on to to the generations after us, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great collaboration. I like you said, it's hard for us to find books with people that looks like
Yes,
that are portrayed in a great way.
exactly.
It when you find usually books that has people that looks like you, me, and like people of color, it's difficult to see that them as the main character. It's difficult to
Yes,
see them. They're usually like a secondary character that does not play a big role in the story.
yes, yes,
I like the fact that you guys find books where the main character is a person of color and
yes,
they are telling the story. They are the major part of the story.
yes,
I
yes,
really love that.
yes, yes. And it's important. It's important not just for the younger ones, but for us as well. Even as adults, kind of thing. It like I always feel that you can learn, however, whatever your age is, however old you are, you can always learn, and you can always gain more information, and makes you happy. It makes me happy to see books with more people of color. It makes me really happy.
It makes me speak to me when I see those books. I'm honestly when I see you guys share like your collabs, I want to save those books and write them down because my niece and my nephews, I want them to grow up seeing
Yes,
them in the books that they're reading.
yes,
I
yes,
want them to be able to relate to the character and not look. Maybe this is something I feel personal, but I feel like when you look at a character in the book and they don't look like you and me, it's harder for me to relate to them. Or if
yes.
I do, I feel like I'm lacking something because I don't look like this
Yes,
person.
yes, and you're trying to portray yourself into that person, and which is should never be the case, right?
Exactly.
Because we are capable, and we are able, and we should be the center of stories.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
I mean, if you look at it as well, like people like you and I, our families, our, like historically, our ancestors sat and told stories, right? I mean, there's so colorful stories and so many stories, but it's always word of mouth, right? They were passed down word of mouth kind
That
of
is
thing,
true.
right?
Most of the
So,
stories I grew up with about our ancestors are word of mouth. And one thing I'll say this, like, yes, I'm American, but the American history, I don't know it that much, but I can tell you Haitian history from the top of my head like this.
yes,
I can tell it because
yes,
I
yes,
learned it in school, but you also had like the opportunity to hear stories from your
yes,
family, from people around you about it. So yes,
yeah.
I really love it. That's
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to know that people are enjoying them and they are looking forward to getting the books. And that some of our customers tell us, "Oh, you know what? I've reserved the book at the library. It's coming to me." It's so exciting, and it's so it makes you feel like, okay, you know what? People understand. People know why we're doing this. So that's important as well.
it's making a difference in how I feel like it's making a difference in not only how our communities, like as a black person, an Asian person, or any other nationalities or race or ethnicity are seeing
Yes.
themselves. It's just like the fact that it's making other people who are not people of color see us in a different light, in a light that's
Yes.
not usually seen as well.
Yes. Yes.
So I really love it.
Yes.
I love that's one of your collaborations I'm in love with. You and
I'm so
Robin,
glad.
and I love Robin too.
Yes,
You
I
guys,
love Robin too. Yes, so she's, yeah. We I'm so glad to connect with her. I'm so glad to connect with her. We have, we talk about what's going on, what's affecting us, what's making us happy. Our joys and things like that. So it's nice. It's nice to connect with people, even though I've not met her personally. You still, like we zoom, so I've seen her little daughter Sophie, and it's awesome. It really is.
so now that we're on the still talking about the subject of BIPOC and everything, how do you
Yes.
would you say that you merge? Because in your stories, if somebody's not following you on Instagram, in her stories, she shares things that are affecting our community, everything that's affecting our community as BIPOC, as citizens, as people. She is, to me, you are a big activist. If I want to know something that's in our community, I go to your stories. I will sit and scroll your stories so I can see them. How do you feel like you merge your business as a yarn dyer with that? Do you feel like you are bringing to the community more awareness while still like people who are following you, are you feeling that you're bringing them more awareness, not just about yarn? This is not about crocheting or knitting or yarn dyeing. This is more, we are human in a community where there is fiber. Yes, we come here to relax with our fiber. However, there is more things to us, there is more things that are affecting us.
If you look at it, okay, so if you look at, we're dyers, we're knitters, we're crocheters, we craft, we do woodwork, we do, we're authors, we're everything, we're so many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that we are separate then from what's happening around the world? It doesn't. You cannot take that out and say, oh, you know what, this is something that I'm going to leave it by itself and it's my peace spot. And it's not, right? Because we are part of all that's going around us, right? That's happening around us, right? And it's our responsibility, right? It's our responsibility as a human being, as part of a community, not just the crafting community, as part of the uh, community of humans, right, on the planet, right?
Yeah.
So as part of all that, it is good, it is important that we should learn and we should see and we should understand what's going on. We cannot live under coconut shell, I guess. That's what my parents would say. Don't live under a coconut shell, or because you cannot have that impression of, what, it doesn't affect me, it's got nothing to do with me, or it's their community, or it's their issue or something like that. Because at the end of the day, this is the only place that we have, right? All of us that we have, right? And and the main thing that it's a short time of period that we are here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the main thing is you help each other, okay? You encourage each other, you look at what's going on, and you can't say like, oh, the black community should just fight it, and that's it, and I'm just going to take a seat back. I think that's a very selfish look, and yeah, because the black community have been saying this for so many years. It's not just now, okay? It's not just happened like the last 2 years or 3 years. It's not. Okay, in America, the black community has been talking about this for years. I mean, I've only lived in America for 21 years. Okay, before that, I was born and raised in Malaysia, and my origins are actually Sri Lankan Tamil. Okay, which is another story altogether. I have lived in London as well. Yeah, and I've seen how the interaction it is with people of color in so many places. Even growing up in an Asian country, growing up in and then going and staying in a Western country, and then being here in America, okay, and knowing the history of America, okay, making it a point to educate myself. So I know a little bit. I will not say I know everything, but knowing the history of America, and how the treatment of black people have been in America, I do not know how to take a seat back and say, okay, I'm not going to get involved or anything like that. I don't know how to do that. It's always been part of me that you should stand up and you should support and help, and and be there for for the people who the people you don't know, but if there's something happening, there's atrocities happening, you should be aware and you should help, so and I this is the thing, if you empower someone, so when I share the stories on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or I put it on my feed, you're empowering people to know more, right, to get more information and to see what's happening. So when they know more, they make better choices, they make better they understand better, okay, they make better policies. Hopefully, hopefully they will say like, okay, this person's policy doesn't really help this, so what should I do? What, should I vote for them? Should I think about it? How else can I do? So as much as I am learning, I want to share whatever I'm learning as well. That's one of the things. It's not that I know about it everything. I this is part of my learning process as well. So so that's important.
Yeah. Um, when you're saying, we were talking about how it's not just our problem, it's not just one group's issue. It's one thing that anytime somebody talks about race or about the anything, any issue, like whether it's the race issue in the US, in the United States, which honestly the United States, I've lived here for like 10 years, I believe, and I did not know what I knew the word racism, but I've never experienced racism until I moved here.
Right.
So something that was something new to me, and I was learning, and it is something I'm learning, the culture here, how they treat people who look like me, no matter how educated you are, no matter what you're doing. Um, but one thing that always comes to my head, I don't remember which book it was from or if it was a poem. It's a part of it, and I'm probably going to butcher it, where it says they came for the Jews and nobody like spoke up. They came for everybody. And when it comes time for them to come for me, there was nobody left to stand up for me. So if
Yeah.
nobody is standing up for everybody else right now, when it's your time, when it's time for them to come for you, because they're not going to stop. They're going to keep going, like Black, Asian, everybody, because they did at some point. The U.S. closed the borders. They made laws to keep
Yes.
Asians
Yes.
out. They made laws to
Yes.
keep Chinese out. They specifically put in there like Chinese,
And
Japanese.
exactly. But see, this is the thing. Okay, I feel that you should not wait till it comes to that. You should not wait till it. And you're thinking of like, what? Oh, if they come for me, if they came from them, no, you should. For me anyway. For me, I think you need to have empathy, right? You need to say to yourself like, look, you know what? is it really that I'm going to wait till they say that they're going to come for this group, and then for me? Or is it going to be, this is, you know what? This is another human being. This is another human being. They have, they have the same, most human beings have the same thing. They want a home. They want their families with them. They want their friends around them. They want good things for children, for their children. They want basic necessities, right? They want things to make them happy and not have to, be fighting. So why do I want to sit down and say, oh, let the Black community deal with this? I will not do that. It's something that I feel that you should have that human understanding and human feeling that, what, this is my brother or my sister or whatever. It doesn't mean that they should fight it alone, right? So
Yes.
yeah, that's the way I look at it. Okay, and maybe it might be a really small way of looking at things, but I guess that's how my parents brought me up as well. For them, it was always important. Growing up in Malaysia, which is, we're mainly all Asians, okay, but there's still racism faced living, I mean, among all of us who are Asians, okay. But my parents always had that mentality of, like, you know what, you treat them how you want to be treated. You don't treat them any different. So you would call, like an older person uncle, or older brother, or older sister auntie. Yeah, everybody was uncle and auntie, and like, so yeah, so even with all that, we still have racism. So yeah. But but the way the blacks are treated in America, you're right. I just, it boils my blood. It makes me angry. So
Yeah. Um, so let's move a little bit into the fiber community. So do you feel that with recent events like all the marching and everything, the Black Lives Matter
yeah,
movements, do you feel like the response we've had in the community this time around, especially from some of the larger accounts in our community, do you feel
yeah.
like it's genuine, or do you feel like it was more, well, the last few times this has happened in our community, where especially in 2018, when the BIPOC community was speaking out saying how we experience racism when we're going through local yarn stores, how we experience we feel discriminated against in certain rivalry group and everything, how our experience is not the best in the community. Do you feel like they have spoken now because they don't want to receive a backlash, or do you feel like it's a really genuine like response?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that there is some of them who have realized, like, look, I really cannot be silent, because truly my silence is harming, the Black community, the indigenous and people of color community. If you're silent, what are you sharing um, uh, with your, the people who follow you, with your followers, right? What are you sharing? What is your point of view, kind of thing? And some of it, I think, is, that they don't want the backlash. Okay, some of it maybe. Okay, but I think that at the end of the day, if you don't say something and you just think that, oh, it's okay, being silent is okay, then there's so many assumptions then can be made, right? And some could be good assumptions, and some could be assumptions that you don't really want, right? So,
Exactly.
so I think that I'm glad for those who have spoken up, but I also don't think that you posting just one square, or and saying how else I should go about it, or trying to ask, educate yourself, make it a point, learn, go and read up, and follow the movements, Black Lives movements, follow Until Freedom. All these people are doing good work in for the Black community, and they are doing important work. Follow them and learn from them. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying as well, that a lot of them, most of them are being genuine. However, lately I've been feeling that attention that were a lot of the designers, a lot of the dyers, and everybody in our community who were speaking out were getting is dying out. And I found a thread. I feel like I was in your stories about how people are speaking out about opportunities that were given to them when everything was happening, and now they're reaching out to those who gave them that opportunities, and they're not hearing anything. And that has been happening in our community as well.
Yes, yes. I think at the end of the day, there's still a lot more work needs to be done. Okay, it's not just because, like, again, you're going back to, oh, it's a trend now, so let me just get all these people on board, and and then we'll think about it later. Or, you know what, nobody's asking anything now, so let me just keep quiet. But so I think then this becomes important then for BIPOC, for us, okay, to not necessarily form our own communities, but to form, to organize our own events, to organize our own uh, 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 collaborations, to organize, to publish our own, publications and all that, and building our own tables, basically, right? We build our own tables, yeah, and our tables grow. They don't it's not like, oh, you have a seat at my table. No, it grows. Our tables grow. And we, if you're wanting to be at our table, you know what you need to do, right? So I think that's important. I think, and there have been, I mean, there are BIPOC who have started, like, certain things that are, that are helping other BIPOCs, and that are, pulling them up. And, so there are people who have been doing certain things and all that. So we can continue and keep on doing it. Nobody's we're not wanting to isolate anybody or anything like that. It's not about that at all. It's about, us having it's for us having it normal, for us making it normal. So it's not like as if, when somebody says inclusion and diverse, it's because we were left out in the first place, right? Whether intentionally or unintentionally, we were left out in the first place, right? But if this becomes the norm, that means seeing BIPOC and white people and everybody else at the table, if that's a norm, then there's no need for inclusion and diverse, and no need to follow rules that were created to intentionally or unintentionally leave us out, right? So yeah, so I think that's the important bit, that we continue building on this, and we continue with our collaborations, and we keep uplifting, designers, dyers, crafters, because they are as important as, whoever is, dyeing the yarn, or, designing the pattern. They're the ones who knit and crochet, and, weave all our beautiful things. And, it's awesome when you see that. So yeah.
Yeah. So now let's go into more the yarn dyeing. Now that we spoke about the community and everything, let's go more into the yarn dyeing. What inspires you to get like those deep colors? Because I love your yarn colors. Like I have this one, which of course
Yes.
I love this one.
Yes.
And I just drop a lot of my yarns on the floor. And I also have this.
Yes. Is that
here.
Bougainvillea spectabilis? I think that's Bougainvillea spectabilis.
No, yes.
Yes. And what you're wearing is Avenoir, right? Avenoir is, I think, the color.
Avenoir. This one is Avenoir. This one, I have a project planned for it for spring. I cannot wait to start it. Like seriously,
Awesome.
I already have one of the skins already
Wound up.
but this one, I have a big project for it. And also I have another skin from you in my stash.
Okay.
This is
yes.
This is gonna be a project that's gonna be released early next year, in winter of next year.
Awesome. Awesome.
I wanted to release it this year. However, with everything that happened and
Yes.
traveling back
Yeah.
home, this is gonna be it. So, how do you get your beautiful? I don't. Do you have this on your website?
At the moment, I don't have anything on bulky weight, right? That's bulky. I think you have. That's my pitta weight. That's
Yes,
bulky. Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Yeah, pitta. Yeah, but I don't have any pitta at the moment. I do have some bare ones which I can dye. So I am looking forward to that. Um, I really love colors. Okay, I am so inspired when I see, it's Mother Nature. Okay, it's space, it's the ocean, it's books, it's words, it's poems. I mean, I see color in poems, and I all this is coming to like my, watching documentaries of Earth and life and space. I love. I follow NASA for the space pictures, and things like that, and everything, like even a rock can give me inspiration, because of the colors. Yeah, because of the colors. A hummingbird, you see the jewel tones of the hummingbird, and it's like, yeah, it takes my breath away. And art, I love looking at paintings and sceneries and sunsets and sunrise, and yeah, they absolutely inspire me, and I feel that everything has a color story, like it's like, it's telling me like, look, dye me. I am something important, so yeah, a lot of inspiration everywhere around this.
I want to show this yarn again because now I found the skein.
Yes.
I want to give a closer look at
Yes,
this
yes,
beauty.
Avenois. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
So this is the same one I am wearing. I did the Gemini shawl in. So if you
yes,
want to jump in
yes,
and see if it's
yes,
her.
and yeah, yeah, and that's the Agni XL, right? Yes, that's the 250 yards, I think. Yes,
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 I love this.
yeah.
I've been hoarding this in my.
If you want, I can dye you some more. Don't hold. I can dye.
I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna pair this one. Um, I think I'm gonna pair it with this one.
Oh yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's gonna be my
Oh yes. And is it a Tunisian crochet project you're gonna do with that?
part of it. It's gonna be a mix of Tunisian crochet and traditional crochet.
Awesome. Okay, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Yeah, so part of I'm just I don't want to say too much
Okay,
about.
sure.
So part of
Definitely, Elizabeth.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be a mix of Tunisian crochet and traditional crochet, and
Nice.
it's gonna have some lace in it. Let's just say that.
Oh, nice. I'm so looking forward to it now. Okay.
I just completely forgot my next question.
Take your time. I'm good.
I'm just awing over your yarn. Seriously. Actually, I think you were the first. You were the first dyer that I've worked with. Robin was the second one I worked with, which is interesting that
Awesome.
you guys are
Yes.
collab together. Uh,
Yes.
I felt you made me fall in love with hand dye yarn. Seriously,
Awesome.
after this.
Awesome.
Um, we met because I think we met when you were doing a D stash.
Yes. Yes, I remember, and you were still stationed overseas, and you would message me, and the time difference and everything. Yes, I remember. Yes,
I still have a lot of your yarn in money. And I'm like, I should like do some D stash. I'm like, no, I'm keeping those. I'm gonna figure out something to make with them.
yes, yes.
So can you walk us through the process of you dyeing a yarn?
Sure, sure. Okay, so there's tonal semi-solids, right? Like what you have, Avenois and Bougainvillea spectacularis. Semi-solids or tonal, okay, because they don't have a color that is uniform throughout the skein, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because when you hand dye yarn, you can't get that. You can't get like how a machine can get. But so then there's variegated and then there's speckled as well. So for like tonals and my semi-solid colorways, I still like to mix different colors. to come to a color that I like, and I like to layer it as well, because then I think it deepens the colorway, and that's why you see all the variations of color. It's like shades of it. Yes, it's like shades of colors in it, kind of thing.
Yes,
And yeah,
I
yeah,
think
you can.
some darker tones in this one.
Yes, yes, and that comes from, like maybe the mixing of the colors or layering of it. So I might do one dip first, let it set, then do another dip again, so, and I use pots and I use pans even for my semi-solids and tonals. So either way it works, kind of thing, so, and then like I like to mix it and pour it into my pot or pan if I want to do a semi-solid or tonal. Then I put my yarns in and I turn them around, and so that both sides get it. Or maybe I'll do one side first and then the next batch, the second and the third, that kind of thing. So and I do use citric acid. I don't use vinegar. I use citric acid because vinegar smells really, really strong, right? And
You
like
know,
with
I like the smell. I don't. I As you can see, I smell my yarn. So if it
yes,
smells like citric acid vinegar, I'm okay with it. As long as you don't use Febreze on your yarns,
no,
I'm okay.
yes, I agree. Fabrice, yeah, drives me up the wall as well. But so it depends. I might add, like, if I wanted to really give a better coverage, and in a pot, then I will put a lower volume of water so that the dye absorbs more into the yarn, kind of thing. And with more water, then it'll give like a lighter coloring on the yarns, kind of thing. And for the variegated, I sometimes use I will lay the yarn in the pan. I will do a maybe I will have like a semi-solid colorway first, and then I might use a ladle and mix another batch of dye, and use the ladle and pour it on the yarns, or use a paintbrush and paint it onto the yarns, kind of thing. So it really depends on my what I want to use at that time, kind of thing.
So you
So
paint on it with a paintbrush.
yeah, yeah, like you can get like from Lowe's or Home Depot, or a small business owner would be better, right? It really would. But you can get those bigger, slightly bigger paint brushes that you would use for your trims and things like that. And you can use that and you can paint on the yarn. So I'll mix the dye maybe and paint it, and then I can just dip it and I'll paint on, maybe on certain spaces, or on certain spots, depending on how I dyed my yarn. So because I like to twist the yarn sometimes, and then pour the dye on it, so it takes on certain areas, and then certain areas will be bare, and then I'll think of what I want to do on those bare areas. And speckling, I like to use, my mom and dad had the set of stainless steel silver spoons. So I'm glad I inherited it, and so I use that and I tap with my finger. I put the dry powder into the spoon and I tap with my finger, and it drops onto the yarn very gently. So it depends on how, so that it comes in a smaller spot, that kind of thing. So there's so many ways. There is not I think we should break all the rules that people tell you for dyeing, and find your own way and your own methods and your own ideas. Use them, you try them, because if you try it and it looks great, hey, you got a new method of dyeing the yarn, right?
Mhm.
And if it doesn't look okay, not going to use this again. But always take lots and lots of notes, okay? Because if you want to repeat the colorway, then you should have lots of notes. And if you can, snap a picture of certain stages on the way, so that you have a rough idea. Because a lot of the yarn I don't have with me, right? I don't I would love to be able to have a skein of every yarn that I've dyed, but I don't. Most of the times, like I sell it out, or so I don't always have an exact copy of it. And hand dyed yarn, no two skeins are ever the same.
Yes,
You
I've
know,
learned that the hard way.
yeah. So yeah. And even with that, I still insist on either crocheting one skein and then the next one. I never switch.
To me,
Yeah,
the alternating thing is just too much work. So I'm just like, let
yeah,
me work with the
yeah.
whole.
And that's the beauty of it, right? Because it's hand dyed yarn, right? So I'm like, you know what? Whatever comes, it's hand dyed yarn. I'm going to see what it's going to come
Exactly.
out
Let
like,
the
you know?
piece be unique, just as unique as
Yes,
the skein of yarn is.
exactly. So, yep.
Do you have is any of your yarn behind there? You can show us the difference between like the variegated, the tonal, and
Sure. Okay, so here. Can you see that? That's my variegated yarn. Can you see the colorway, or is it
oh wow,
coming?
that's beautiful. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
seeing it has some
So yeah, and it
purple.
has some speckles as well. It has got some speckles as well. I'll open the skein so you can see a little bit more. Maybe can you see?
Oh yes.
Yeah, So that has many different colors. Okay, this is October Sunsets. It's on my Agni yarn, and then here's another one. This is Crisp Autumn Walks. Can you see it?
Oh yes, I see it better now. That
Yeah.
is
So
beautiful.
that's this has a semi-solid base first, and then I did the speckles on it. You see? So that's how it comes out. And this is on my Vajra base in 80/20 fingering. And then yes, my semi-solids. This is Cosmic Dancer.
That's a beautiful, vibrant, like is it
Yeah.
reddish?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the color to show, but it's not. It's still showing orange, I think. I don't know. Is it showing orange?
It's showing kind of red to me.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So this is a semi-solid colorway, and you can still see variations of the color. So yeah, and these are on my Vayu base, which is 75/25.
Ooh.
This one is another one. This is Dream Cloud. It's a new colorway that I've dyed, and it's not coming out.
It
It's
looks
coming
like
out.
I need to get it in my stash.
So yeah, so this one it's not showing as well as I would like it to, but it's really a deeper gray blue colorway, I want to say.
Yes, it's showing.
And
I'm seeing the blue gray in it.
okay, but when you have it in your hand, though, I would say you can see more of the gray. So yeah, this this is yeah, I do like this colorway, and I think sweater would be nice.
Yes. Um,
Yes,
is it
you
in your
know.
shop yet?
Say again.
Is
Sorry.
it in your shop yet?
Yes, it is. It is in my shop, and I think I have one skein left. Let me show you another another one. This is very variegated. Can you see it?
Oh wow, this is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
This is very variegated, and lots of speckles, and it's got like a semi-solid some parts. You see that? That's like a semi-solid, yeah. So, but it's hugely variegated, and yeah, Octopus Garden.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna need to go shopping.
yeah. So, that's some of the colorways,
So
and
if
I've got yeah. Go on.
go ahead. So if anybody has a question about any of this yarn, I'm gonna link her website down below in the description box, and it's also gonna be on the show notes on my blog, so you can find it. Because everybody needs to go shopping for these yarns, basically.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
So I have a question. When you are dyeing the variegated or the speckles one, I know you have to bring the yarn to a certain temperature for them to take the color, especially with the acid dye. Um, do you have to let it cool down and then reheat it again to add the other colors to it, or do you keep it at the same temperature and then how do you do the?
Okay, so remember what I said. Break every rule I said, right? So yes. So okay. So some people like to bring the temperature of the water to a certain temp. put the dye in, mix it, and then put the yarns in so the dye catches. So that's one way of doing it, right? So the dye catches onto the yarn. And sometimes what I do is I'll put the water, mix the dye, pour it into the pot or pan, and I'll put my yarn in immediately, and I'll put it on low and let it simmer and let it heat up till it comes to a certain till the water is exhausted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for some of my colorways, I will take the yarns out. I will use the same exhausted dye water that I have in the pot, mix another batch of dyes, pour it in, and I'll put my yarns in again. So because that's for the specific colorway that I'm trying to dye. So you can do it that way, right? And then if you want to speckle, you can take the once the dye has exhausted and you don't see the water is clear, you can take the pan out. You can speckle your dye at that time, the dry dye powder, you can speckle it at that time, or you can leave it to cool overnight and then you can speckle it the next day, and then you can put the heat on low and set it again. So there are so many different ways. Really, it's what you like, what you want to produce or what you want it to look like. And sometimes you never know until you try it, right? Until you try all the different methods. Yeah.
So when you're dyeing a different, first, let me ask you this: when you say exhausted, that means the water is clear, like it's clear,
Yes.
or is there still some little bit of colors left in the water?
Even if there's some little color way left in the water, always leave it to exhaust fully overnight. Okay, so leave it to one side, let it sit, don't touch it, don't look at it, leave it alone, cover it and leave it and let it exhaust, because with the temperature that's still going on in the pan and with it covered, it will just keep on, the yarn will take as much as it can and let it exhaust overnight. The main thing of letting it exhaust overnight as well, so that your yarn doesn't bleed when you take it out, dump it into cold water. And then, so you don't want that. So it's better to always leave your yarns to exhaust overnight. Even if you're just speckling, leave it one side, let it exhaust overnight.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if somebody wanted to try dyeing with citric acid, with acid dye, and using citric acid to
Sure.
make sure that they rinse it out so it doesn't bleed and anything of that sort, and remove the smell and everything, where would you say they can go to get started? Like for me, if I wanted to dye a couple of skeins, how would you say I
Sure.
start that?
So Dharma Trading Company has wonderful dyes. Prochem is another company that I get my dyes from. So you can get like sample, like a starter set, what they call, from Dharma Trading Company. I know they have one. Prochem, I think, has one too. I can't remember, but you can get those dyes. The smallest amount that they sell is like a 2 ounce, I think, 2 ounce tub of dye. So, which goes a long way, So the starter set from Dharma Trading Company is a good one to go with first, So. Yeah, and citric acid, you can buy it in grocery store. Now nobody's going anywhere, I get that. But you can get it online. I'm not sure what the smallest amount of citric acid is. Citric acid is good because it helps the yarn, the dye stick to the yarn, kind of thing. It needs a binder. So that's the modern kind of thing. And one more tip I'm going to give you: you don't always have to soak your yarn to get it to, for the dyes to catch. You can even try dry dyeing your yarn, meaning, like, like your yarns are not soaked and you just dump it into dye and see what happens. So if you're trying out, it's fun, it's good, you learn a lot that way. So
It's good that you say that you don't have to always soak it, because everybody I've seen on Instagram dyeing their own yarns with avocado and everything, they always tell you have to soak it first. You have to do this first. I'm like, this is a lot of steps. I'm gonna skip in this thing.
So that's why I'm always saying, have fun with it. and create your own rules, right? Create your own rules. See see what happens. See how long does it take for the dye to catch when it's dry, do you really need to add citric acid for certain things? Yes, for acid dyes you need to add citric acid, okay, definitely. But for natural dyeing, and that's how I got started, natural dyeing, and I really want to go into that more later as well. Not so much later, but maybe in the near future. But with natural dyeing, avocado pits have a lot of tannin, which is a modern. Okay, so that helps with binding your dye to the yarn and everything like that. And then I think that like some walnuts and acorns, you know what? If you are in a place where you can forage, even better. You just never know what you can find in the forest, or anywhere else to use for your dyeing materials.
You are giving me so many ideas of things I can use to dye these yarns. I'm probably gonna have to buy a truckload of yarn so I can start dyeing with all these ideas. I never thought about using nuts to dye.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's
They,
blowing my mind.
yes. If I think even some plants. That's one thing that I would really like to do. Have a plant dyeing section in my garden. And grow some of these plants. So that I can use them to dye and things like that. So there's like oh my goodness. I'm not sure I want to go into indigo, but it's beautiful, right? It's amazing. The colors that it gives is amazing. And then there's like amaranth, and there's marigolds, right? Marigolds give beautiful color, and so many flowers and things you can use. So it's fun. And sometimes you don't get any color, but you're like, okay, I know this is not going to give me any color. Never mind, leave it one side. So, but yeah.
I've also heard people dyeing with turmeric to get like a goldish,
Yes.
like
Yes.
beautiful color. I've
Yes.
heard people dyeing with spices a lot to do that.
Yes.
So that's
Paprika and turmeric, saffron, I'm sure, but I don't think I want to put saffron
I
because
don't
saffron is, yeah, it's too expensive, right?
think for me to dye yarn with it.
Yes, exactly. So when you think of that, maybe like the lilies, like asters and lilies, they have those little filaments that come out with those little powder at the end. Like how, sometimes the powders drop on your table or whatever and it stains.
Yeah,
Use those. Maybe that's what we need to start
maybe you
using,
could use them for like the speckling, or like
Yeah. Yes.
that is
Yeah.
that's nice. That is great
Yes.
idea. Oh my
Yes.
god, I'm gonna become a scientist in my kitchen.
See, I think that's what's so fun about dyeing, okay, for me especially, okay, because it's not just, oh, you're mixing colors, but it's what comes out of your head, and you're thinking, what about this and this color, and what about that and that color, and then you're thinking like, how much, right? How much of it should I put? How much of this should I use? Or what will brighten it, or make it softer, or make it deeper, and then with the speckling, what can I use? Oh, what instrument, or what fun things that I can use to speckle, and like now, like you said, like using the filament to speckle, that's a great idea. I think that would be so amazing. Yeah.
So, do you use? I know you said that you're using different things to do it. Do you use like special like pots and pans solely for dyeing, or can
Yes.
you use stuff from my
Yes.
kitchen from that?
You can use stuff from your kitchen, but don't ever cook in it again.
Okay, so if I'm
Yes.
dyeing, it's for dyeing, period. Even if I'm doing plant-based dyeing.
Yes, even if you're doing plant-based dyeing, because
Mhm.
tannins are not really something that you want to be feeding your body with, right? So even if you're doing plant-based dyeing, separate equipment for your dyeing. So if that one pot is gone for dyeing, that's it. You're not ever going to use that pot again. So, yeah.
So for a person that wants to start dyeing, I can go buy a starter kit, go to Walmart, or if you can find a smaller BIPOC
Yes.
business, go to that
Yes.
and purchase
Yes.
like your own pots and pans solely
Yes.
for dyeing, and
Yes.
a spoon, probably to scoop everything.
Yes. And to stir and then get like a little glass. I have a measuring, like those Pyrex measuring cups, because they have they I know exactly how much of water I'm adding to
Oh,
it. It shows me the levels. It's got metric and imperial.
I was like,
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but I don't know.
Yeah, imperial. So so you use that, so you keep track of how much you're measuring, how many, and get measuring spoons, like a quarter teaspoon or less, like 1/8, 1/16, 1/64. So you can use like a dash or whatever kind of thing, so you know how much of dye you're adding. That's for acid dyes. That's for the powdered, whether they're natural or acid or anything. That's for your powdered dyes. With using avocados and pits and skins, weigh them. Weigh them, so you know how much of the pits you're using, or how many, or I keep track of how many pits you're using. Okay, this 5 pits weight this, because not always the pits are going to be the same amount, right? So with natural dyeing, there is more freedom to
Yeah.
you yeah, because like with so that's why you will never ever get the same exact color on the skin, I think. But if you keep track of all that, you never know, because then you'll have like, okay, I know how much of this I used to get that much of dye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, so so you will, I'm sure there's some system that you can come up with.
I have like a small one of the small food scales.
Skills,
Yeah.
yes.
I use it to weigh my urine, so I'm probably gonna use that to weigh how much like
Yes,
hits I'm putting in everything.
yes,
Now that you
yes,
said I can go use everything else in the world to die.
yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
do that too.
Yes, it's amazing. So yeah, and then of course the different fibers will take the dye differently. That's another interesting look the yarns will give you, because like so this one is like merino, superwash merino and nylon, right? And it
Mhm.
takes the colorway like this. Okay, then I have like merino and silk.
Jesus, gorgeous.
Okay, and you see how it takes the color. This same colorway I have dyed. No, not this colorway, sorry. This same, look at this one. This one is a non-superwash wool. Okay, so this is alpaca and silk. Okay, and then I have dyed it in this one, which is superwash merino and nylon. And you can see there is
It's a
there is
lot brighter in one of them than the other.
Yeah, in
It's
the merino wool and the nylon, it is a lot brighter. This one, it is bright, but the alpaca and the silk kind of
Mhm.
like resist it, so it takes it in a different manner, kind of thing,
Yeah.
so you can see the difference. And this is a new base that I have, and this is 100% airy silk. Okay, so it is even more different in this one. You see the three of them?
And they're all animal fiber, and but they are
Yes.
taking in the dye so much more
So,
different. So I can't wait.
exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So there's so many different ways of doing it, and the fibers that the way they take the dye, it's different. And I'm trying to see. Yeah. See, like the my Agni is 100% superwash merino wool, and that takes it different as well.
That's amazing to me. And I'm
Yeah.
just wondering now that you see how the different like animal fibers take it. Can you imagine like if you had plant-based fiber, like if you had
Yes.
bamboo or cotton
Exactly.
and stuff like that, like they will take the yarn like the color differently, and it's not even,
So
go ahead.
go on. Go on.
No, I was gonna say it's not even the fact that it's the different fiber. It's just like the different ways they actually work the fiber before you dye
Yes,
it as well
yes,
might make a difference in how the dye, the colorways show in
yeah.
it.
So like plant-based fibers, and you have a different set of acid dyes. You can't you when you use the acid dyes that you use for the animal-based fibers, they resist those dyes. They don't really take in those dyes. So the blends of animal and plant, it will be lovely to see how that looks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So with natural though, you can use it for animal and for plant-based fibers. But for your acid, you get a different set of dyes for your plant-based fibers.
That's interesting. That is fair.
Yeah.
I would think that you could use the acid on whether it's plant or animal based fiber, but so you have
No.
to try because the chemical like
Yes.
makeup of the different fibers is different than like
Yeah.
the animal fiber. The protein in the animal fiber will react differently to the acid.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yes. So it's also, so when you have like blends of animal and plant, you can see the plant base will resist. So that's interesting as well because it gives you a different colorway. So it will take some, but not as much as the animal fiber.
Okay.
Do you get it? Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna get now. I have to try different type of yarn,
Yes. Yes.
different type of
Yes.
fibers,
Yes.
to see in a couple of blends to see how they react to the
Yes.
dyes I do. Ooh, that's gonna be a fun weekend.
Yes. And you will need more than a weekend, believe me, because you'll be like, hang on, wait, this is not, yeah, let me try this one. And yes, so it'll be a fun weekend.
So thank you for teaching us a lot about dyeing. So I have a question for you. It's more of a personal question about this.
Okay.
What do you feel your biggest achievement in this community has been?
Um, I guess for me, it's
So
it's
if
it's
you're looking
it's like it's not so much achievement. I guess it is an achievement because I would say it's all the friendships, all the collaborations, meeting people, via Instagram, via Zoom, in real life, in the community, and everyone, like from all walks of life, like crafters and dyers, designers, and forming meaningful relationships, right? Forming relationships where we continue. It's not just, can I have yarn to design this, or can I buy this dye, this yarn colorway from you? It's not just that. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And I am grateful to some to there are a few designers that I've clicked with, kind of thing, and I'm very grateful for their inspiration, for their
Mhm.
help, and for collaborating with me. A few of them is like Dawn Henderson. She's Dawn Landix on Instagram, and then there's Junko Okamoto, who's Junko Okamoto Designs.
I don't think I
Nancy,
follow them.
yeah, she. So we've done a collaboration, and they inspire me. And then there's Nancy Ritchie as well, of Getting Pearly with It, and Robin, of course. So yeah, so these people have, they not just inspire me. It's their outlook on life. It's their, their learning processes. Their, how they are there for the community, and how they, they want things to be better, and they are doing what they can, and helping and things like that. So I am grateful for their friendship, more than anything else, and how they go about inspiring all of us. So yeah, so I guess for me, that is not necessarily an achievement, but it's something that I hold very close to my heart.
I believe that's an achievement because if I like I would not have met you if it wasn't for this
Yes.
community. And
Yes.
something that I would say is it's very true. It's like you, Robin, it's like you two are, if I need a yarn for something and I want it to be hand dyed, I will reach out to you, both of you, before I reach out to anybody else, before I even go look on anybody else's. And I feel like it's because of the relationship that we have formed with each other. I know that if I message you, it might, yes, time different, we are busy, it might take a minute for you to respond to me, but we are going to work together.
Yes.
Try to create something, to try to get my idea. Like that gray yarn.
Yes.
I messaged I'm like, I need something gray. This is the gray I need. Da, da, da. And you actually went in and created that color. Yes. So I would say it's an achievement.
I agree. I agree with you, because you're right. I wouldn't have met you if not for Instagram, not for the crafting community, you know, and because how would have our paths crossed, right? How would have crossed? Yeah. So yes, I agree with you. It is an achievement. So I do appreciate, and you know, and there are a lot more, you know, there are people in real life that, you know, who just they inspire me, and I'm so glad to have them, you know, in my journey, and I hope I'm part of their journeys as well, you know. So it makes me, it gives me joy, and I think BIPOC joy is really important at this moment, right? You know, I think we should be sharing our joy as much as everything that's going on. Our joy should also be there.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me today. So is there anything that you would like to share with the audience, with the community, before we end this?
Just, you know, keep on doing what we're doing, you know, keep on doing what we're doing, and keep on sharing our stories, keep on, you know, sharing our joys, keep on doing, you know, all that we are doing. And I think, you know, I think this community is you know, it has put so much potential, and it's it can make a difference.
Can you please like share with everybody where they can find you on social media? I'm already gonna tag your right down below. I'm gonna jump myself to go order from you.
Yes, my website is www.serendipitouswool.com, and on Instagram I'm there at Serendipitous Wool. So at these two places I'm constant. I am on Twitter, but I'm mostly reposting the the fun politics that we have. Yes, so yes, but yeah, I'm on Instagram, and you can find me on my website. There's a contact us on my website, and if you hit that, you can email me and, you know, ask me about my yarn and things like that. So I so appreciate this, Elizabeth. I really do. I appreciate, you know, knowing you, and I'm so glad for you to, you know, ask me to do this podcast with you. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, when I wanted to talk to somebody who was dyeing yarn, or when I thought about the person I wanted to be in my podcast, you came up. It was not even, I was making a list for the year, until December, for everybody I wanted there. Like, it was not even, I want to talk about the subject, and your name literally just came out in my head. It was not something I had to sit and think, oh, who do I want to do this? You came out. I was like, she has to do it. She has to be on this.
I appreciate that. I really, really do. And your friendship is something that I'm grateful for as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. You've made me, honestly, you've made me want to be a better person in this community.
Oh.
So no, I'm serious. Like, a lot of the times when I watch your stories, I'm like, she is making a difference. I should strive to be more like her. I should strive to be more like Shobha, like where I can write, I can make a difference in the community. I can bring more to the community than just crochet patterns.
We are our stories, right? And you do that. And when you share your stories, and I watched it, and I feel it, and it's something that connects. That's what connects us, right? We are human, and and we need those connections. I appreciate that, Elizabeth, so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much, Shobha, for coming, and I really enjoyed having you here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It was such a pleasure having Shobha here today, and I hope you enjoyed talking about like the issues in the BIPOC community and talking about dyeing yarn and learning about the different ways you can dye yarn, the different things you can use to dye yarn. Honestly, myself, I never thought about using onion skins to dye yarn. That's amazing to me. And I cannot wait to actually give it a try and see what else I can do with it. And I would love for you guys to go ahead and check out her website and pick up some of the yarn. I'm going to go pick up that last gray and maybe a few more things before anybody else snatches it up. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.